These are unjustified, unwarranted tariffs. They add an extra tax basically on our exports for U.S. customers.
How much is a tree worth? It's a complicated question, but at the heart of a decades-old dispute between Canada and the U.S. that's set to come to life once again. Canada says it intends to challenge American duties on Canadian softwood through the North America Trade Agreement. America's argument? The fees Canadian loggers pay to cut down trees on Crown lands are too low.
So in Canada, we have a somewhat unique system in terms of its magnitude of having private firms working on public lands under many different types of complicated conditions. And under those circumstances, those private companies pay the government to harvest those trees. And so circling back, stumpage fees are those fees that the private companies pay to governments to harvest trees.
The industry says around 94% of Canadian forestry happens on Crown land, and the provinces set the price those companies pay to cut down public trees. America says those rates are below what it considers a fair market price and constitute an unfair subsidy.
It's the private forest owners in the United States that primarily drive the politics here to make these false claims against, how the stumpage rate, for example, is set for Canadian forest operations. So
Joel Newheimer is with the Forest Products Association of Canada, which represents Canadian foresters. He says stumpage fees vary by province and aren't one size fits all.
So the value of a tree standing in the forest depends on where it is, the quality it is, how hard it is to go and harvest it, how far you have to transport it whenever you do cut it down. So to try to, that means there's a lot of adjustments that have to happen to try to figure out what that standing tree in the forest is worth.
Canada is making its challenge to the current tariff through the U.S.-Mexico-Canada Trade Agreement's Chapter 10. Under the terms of the trade deal, a binational panel will be established to see if America's softwood lumber duties can stand or not. In Ottawa, Shaoli Lee, City News.